Hello, I'm Alex. I'm the Devil's Advocate. I talk about movies, music, TV, video games, whatever I want to talk about on this channel. And today, I'm doing a very brief, short wrap up of Peacemaker Season 2. Peacemaker Season 2 is finished, and it was good. It was good. If you watch my first video on Peacemaker, in the beginning of this season, I predicted that this was going to be a world building kind of cleanup season. And I was not incorrect. James Gunn is very good at making everything character focused. So this was character focused on Chris and the crew and what they want and their kind of directionless lives right now and where they're going to go. So not to recap the entire season, but there's an alternate universe where Chris, his father and brother are still alive. He had killed his doppelganger in the beginning of the season. I think I talked about that. And so now he's like taking his place and living in this alternate Earth. And it's only revealed in there's 8 episodes in this season. It's revealed in episode 6, I think, that this is Nazi Earth, where the Nazis won World War II. America is a Nazi nation, and there's no minorities anywhere. Hence, when Adebayo goes with the rest of the crew to go rescue Chris, and rescue, but like really convince him to come back and live with them. She's chased down the street in a cul-de-sac because they're like, oh my god, it's a black escaped. Presumably like concentration camps or work camps that they have. Very Invasion of the Body Snatchers, Donald Sutherland, like, yeah. So we get Nazi Earth, Judo Master rescues her, Harcourt runs into the other Harcourt who never wears pants. Right, she always wears a skirt. That's why the brother was like, there's something off here. And they escape, but not before Chris has to watch his father get killed by both vigilantes, because Vigilante meets himself. And it's very funny. They're almost identical. Like they spend a whole scene like, well, what's your favorite Pokemon? Charizard or Infernape. What's your favorite book? And they have everything's the same, except for, is your best friend Peacemaker? And he's like, no, I fucking hate that guy. What are you talking about? I'm fighting against him here. And we realize like Peacemaker, his father and brother are the heroes of this country, but they're not quite all the way Nazi, I guess, because the father hates being called a Nazi. So we didn't really get like a clear like how far into it are you or whatever, but it's clear that regardless he is a nicer man because both of his sons are alive, and seemingly that's the main difference, is that like both his sons are alive, and so he's not filled with this like hatred for Chris. He's like, Chris isn't that great, but he's not like, I hate him. So the vigilantes, they're breaking into the house to rescue Chris and Adebayo and everybody from the situation, and they kill his father. So he has to watch his father die again in front of him. And then they almost kill his brother until he like screams this primal scream of like, deep-seated trauma. They leave the dimension. The brother is revealed to be like still alive, so there's a setup for a future villain. We also have Rick Flag is hunting him down as well, like Senior. It's revealed that Harcourt and Rick Flag Jr. were in a relationship. That's why she feels so guilty for her feelings towards Chris. And Rick Flag Sr. makes a deal with Lex Luthor to try and find this portal device. And Luthor lends him like his crew. So he's getting really chummy with the Luthor crew, and we see him kind of slip, his responsibilities slip away, and he's just focused on revenge. So his values become compromised and whatnot. By the end of this series, we get a tease. Not just a tease, we get Chris sent there after he and the 11th Street Kids, along with Sacha Bordeaux, Judo Master, and fucking Tim Meadows, which I love. Tim Meadows was the best part of this season. Love Tim Meadows, always have, ever since SNL. Ladies man, he is so fucking good. Story of Dewey Cox. He's good, great in every fucking thing he's in, and he makes this season so much better. And so he joins the crew, and they create Checkmate, which, if you read DC Comics, Checkmate just was Argus before they rebooted DC and changed it from Checkmate to Argus. But in this, like, it makes sense that they create their own spy agency, Checkmate, with, where do they get the money? Vigilante has all this drug money in his garage, and all these drugs. Like, everything he's confiscated from all the people he's killed, he just keeps in the garage. And he's like, I can't use it because it'll be a curse. You know, it's blood money. You can't use this stuff. And by the end of the season, Adebayo convinces him, we got to use it for good. Like, turn something bad into something good. And so they use all this money to fund their new building and new operation, Checkmate, which presumably will be like the good guy CIA coming out, you know, trying to check Argus and help metahumans. Because the whole reason Argus wanted the portal device and Rick Flag wanted the portal device is so they can find a prison. And in that process, the reason why Tim Meadows' character, Flurry, joins with the 11th Street kids is because they're going through all these doorways in the pocket dimension, and they're losing guys. They're losing friends of theirs because these dimensions are hostile. There's the one with candy canes everywhere, and little imps come and eat the face of one of the soldiers. They keep going into the different dimensions, and like people keep dying, and it was all for a prison. And Tim Meadows can't fucking stand that. Neither can Sasha Bordeaux. So they leave to help Hardcore and Peacemaker and whatnot establish Checkmate. And Judo Master as well. So the planet that they look for, they call it Salvation, which is a direct reference to this book, Salvation Run. JLA Salvation Run, written by Matthew Sturgis, Bill Willingham, Sean Chen, and Walden Wong. It's one of the coolest books I've ever read. The plot of this book is, the government gets sick and tired of Arkham and Blackgate and Iron Heights and the Slab. Just these villains go in and they break out. They go in, they break out. So they're sick of it. And they're just like, just get them out of here. Put them on another planet, and there's no doorway or any way for them to come back. The planet is, Earth-like. It's got air, it's got gravity, it's got vegetation and animals and stuff. So they can live there. It'll be hard, but they can create their own paradise. And the government's just like, get them the fuck out. And it is run by Waller in this. So, Checkmate, Argus, whatever. In this, it's all DC villains, so we're probably not going to get that here because they all haven't been established yet. But really, it becomes Lord of the Flies with, like, Lex Luthor trying to get everyone home and the Joker just being like, I don't give a shit. We're here. Fuck it. Like, let's fuck with Lex Luthor's plans because why not? Vandal Savage also tries to, like, leave and do his own little commune and have a harem of the female villains. He's like, we'll just repopulate this planet. I lived for centuries, so I don't care where I have an empire, It's cool. It's a really fun story. But it turns out the twist is this planet isn't totally safe. The reason why they didn't notice right away, or Checkmate didn't notice right away, is because this is a testing ground for Darkseid's parademons. So they show up on the planet, and then they fight the indigenous beasts that are on this planet, which are very, like, tough and scary predators. And that's the premise. Is like, they sent them to this planet, to die, but also to make their own life and whatever. But Checkmate didn't do their due diligence enough, and there are monsters on this planet that are made for parademons to train against. Parademons being the foot soldiers of Darkseid. So I'm wondering if we're going to do that in the show, no, not in the show, but in the DC universe, and this is going to tie into Apocalypse and the New Gods and stuff like that. That would be really cool. But James Gunn has said, like, he's not going to use this as a, it's not going to be the direct adaptation. It's not going to be Lex versus the Joker. Which, I would like to see that. But again, I understand you haven't established all the villains yet. We're not going to be able to do that. I think this is a allegory or metaphor for the way Trump is just sending political dissidents to El Salvador and, like, other countries and just black site prisons in general. And the idea of, like, someone compromising their values, Rick Flag compromising his values to make the world a safer place. Whereas Trump is not compromising his values. Trump's a piece of shit and who loves hurting people. But that's really where the season ends. Like, Peacemaker is, like, he gets his revenge. Rick Flag gets his revenge on Peacemaker by sending him to this planet. The rest are going to have to deal as checkmate and be like, well, what the fuck happened to Peacemaker? What's going on? And I'm sure we'll see them pop up in future DC projects. So I'm excited about the future of the DC universe. This show made me excited. It doesn't have like a strong beginning, middle, and end as the first season did, because that was pretty straightforward. Like, there's an alien invasion happening. So we know the beats of what that story would be like. This was very character focused and was more of like exploring the idea of an alternate life and coming to terms with internal truths. Like, Adebayo has to break up with her longtime partner because she realizes, you want one kind of life, I want one kind of life. If one of us compromises, it's not fair to the other. So we have to break up. Harcourt realizes that she does have feelings for Chris. Chris realizes that these are his family, and he's not cursed with death. Like, when Adebayo says it perfectly in a great emotional scene at the end where she says, you've always been listening to other people. That's when people get hurt, is when you listen to your father. You beat up your brother and he died. When you listen to Amanda Waller and you killed Rick Flag Jr. But when you were yourself, you touch people and you inspire people. And that's what you can do. And that's why you're good. And that's why we love you. And it's very good, like, emotional speech. There's some great fucking acting from John Cena. And I forget her name, who plays Adebayo, but she's great. Jennifer Holland, who plays Harcourt, also does a great job. Adrian Chase, the character name of Vigilante, that actor is so fucking hilarious in every scene. And of course, Tim Meadows. Again, I cannot sing the praises of Tim Meadows enough. Lex Luthor made an appearance. Nicholas Hoult was in there for a second, again, dealing with Rick Flag. I'm glad they just kept it to one episode and one scene. We didn't need him, like, plotting in the background. We had his, like, minions working with Rick Flag, so that was enough for us to understand that, like, yeah, Flag is kind of losing it here and trusting someone he definitely shouldn't trust. So that's Peacemaker Season 2. I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to more. I don't think we're getting a Peacemaker Season 3. I'll probably get a Checkmate TV show or, like, whatever. They'll show up in other projects. I think the next thing we're getting might be Lanterns. Either Lanterns or Clayface. Or Supergirl. One of the three. But I'm excited for Lanterns. I'm excited for Lanterns. Oh, yeah, my fucking Green Lantern necklace here. But, yeah, man, I think Peacemaker Season 2, it's worth watching, for sure. There's some definitely some funny scenes and some catharsis when they're, killing people on that Nazi planet. But not as well-defined a plot as Season 1. I guess I could say that. But enjoyable enough. So let me know what you thought down in the comments. Did you watch Peacemaker Season 2? What did you think of it? What did you think of the reveal that they were on the Nazi planet? What did you think of the Salvation Planet? What did you think of Tim Meadows? And is there anything that you felt it was lacking, or they wasted time on, or let me know your thoughts below, and like and subscribe and whatnot. Take care, folks.